Good evening. I'd like to call the Foster-Glocester School Committee to order. Could I please have roll call?
Mrs. Joyce?
Here.
Mr. Mara? Here. Mrs. Pezza? Here. Mr. Dupuy?
Here.
Mrs. Keeling? Here. Mr. Joyce? Here. Ms. Cook? Ms. Ferreira? And Mr. Rizzo?
Here.
Can we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Student and staff recognition.
We have had a tremendous couple weeks. But we're not going to recognize them until April because it just all happened this past weekend. So we will bring them in. We have wrestling, boys and girls, wrestling, both state champs, basketball,
Yes, so
pole vaulter.
I do have a few recognitions because it's been definitely a pretty busy month. And as you know, February was CTE Spotlight Month. So thank you, Mrs. Keeling, for giving me an opportunity to go in the student and staff recognition. These are just some very small highlights to recognize. We will definitely have more, but it has been a really busy month, which is a good thing. The construction management co-teaching model, pairing the geometry and construction teacher that's allowed students to really experience math, my love, through a practical lens, making those immediate connections with the geometric concepts and principles and the hands-on project. That is powerful in the world of mathematics, and we're thrilled about that. That was a spotlight in February. But athletic and student updates, our middle school girls basketball made it to the state finals, and I know we're going to recognize them. Boys and girls wrestling won the state championship. First time ever in Rhode Island state history. I'll say that again, first time ever.
We do.
In Rhode Island state history. Congratulations. Right. And we'll do the official recognition in April, but there was just too much to let all of that time pass. Boys wrestling, New England champions, 4th year in a row. Boys basketball, state division 3 champions, first time in 24 years. Coach and assistant coach, Pontiac graduates. Girls cheerleading division 3 champions, esports state runner-up, Mr. Carnevale. And DECA students, girls high school basketball team are in the state finals. And then our DECA students competed in the state competition, and 30 students medaled, 4 first place medalists, 13 second place medalists, 13 third place medalists, and 25 students qualified for the national competition in April. You guys are gonna say much more about that, but that's just needs to be here as well. Congratulations. We had students in the production of The Bugs. They performed for our community this past weekend, and it was a wonderful, wonderful performance. And then we have some upcoming events, our Skills USA competitions this month. We've expanded all our CT programs who are involved in the competition. Super excited about that. We have our robotics competition. That's a big one coming. And then we will celebrate being a national banner unified champion school again. So this is a little bit, I know I probably missed some of it, but you just needed to see the really great things that have been going on in the past month. So thank you, Mrs. Keeling, for allowing me to have that opportunity.
You can take it over.
But we'll have more next month. Discussion and, nope, let's start with public comment. Let's open the agenda or the meeting with any public comment. None? All right, we'll wait. Discussion and or public action on the following. Approval of meeting minutes.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the minutes of the open meeting on February 3rd, 2026.
Any discussion? Yes.
Sorry, thank you. I watched the minutes, I watched the meeting last night to make sure that I wasn't incorrect. So if I could please, item number 16, discussion approval of APRA coordinator stipend.
Hold on one second, Michelle. Okay.
Okay, what's missing here is Greg added in the motion contingent to school committee approval. So I watched the meeting last night to ensure I was correct. That's how I remembered it. And that's what we're missing. It just, because that's important, because, so the stipend can't be given until the school committee approves it. It just says, motion by Ms. to approve a stipend as determined by the superintendent for the APRA, subject to school committee approval. Okay. Yep, it is. So I didn't know if it had to be different because it said contingent. That's what Greg said, but that's fine, so. Okay.
So is it okay, Chuck?
Yep, it's close. Yeah, that's fine.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
I'm gonna abstain, because I wasn't there.
All right, so we're at
501.
601.
601.
601.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the minutes of the executive session meeting on February 3rd, 2026.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
I abstain.
601, Mark Rizzo. Approval of monthly bills.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the monthly bills dated February 1st, 2026 to February 28th in the amount of $1,008,461.97.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? 7-0. Approval of cell tower funds.
Madam
You want to make the motion
Yep.
and we'll discuss? Go ahead.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve $1,250 to allow 25 students that qualify to attend DECA ICDC trip to Atlanta, Georgia in April of 2026. Funds will be allocated to offset the cost of airfare, travel, bus transportation, extracurricular events, etc. Matching funds request of $1,250.
Second.
Any discussion? Should we let, do you have anything you want to share? Yeah.
Hello, and thank you for the opportunity for us to speak today a little bit about what we've done in the last month and what we're looking forward to in April. My name is Bailey Braga on behalf of the Pontiac DECA, business teacher here as well. A lot to be excited about this past month. We just heard some of the successes, which is amazing, and thank you for the opportunity. We'd like to continue on with that. A little bit of discussion from our leadership team and some qualifiers for the International Career and Development Conference in April to Atlanta. Just a little backstory of where your funds went last year. Last year, we sent 22 students to ICDC in Orlando, and we had a phenomenal time. And this year, we came back bigger and better than ever. And I just wanted to address some things. Last year, we had 14 medalists. This year, out of 45 students that competed against over 700 students in the state, 30 students medaled, which we had previously talked about, which is an accomplishment in and of itself. That's the most that we've ever had at Pontiac. With that, Rhode Island DECA limited us to only 23 students allowed to actually attend the conference this year, which is a disappointment considering that our goal was for 30 people to go to ICDC, but we ended up with 23, so we're still happy about that. The students here, unlike regular sports where if they don't have a good game this week, they may have another game in 2 days or another game next week. They don't have that opportunity. They actually prepare for months for one opportunity, and it's win or go home. And so even if they don't win, they actually prepare for over 11 months to try to get back to the same position. So it's the thrill of victory or the agony of defeat, and they don't accept defeat, so they come back better than ever. So with that being said, we want to be respectful of your time, but we would be remiss if we didn't hear from some of the leadership team. So I'm going to turn it over to the president of the DECA Club, Nathan West.
All right. Good evening, everyone. As Mr. Braga said, I'm Nathan West, the president of Pontiac DECA. And before we start, everyone talking here, I just wanted to say thank you so much for your continued support. You've helped support us over these past couple years, send a lot of our students to our international competition, and it has really helped everyone who's attended grow. I mean, myself, I've gone the past 2 years. I've definitely grown as a person, and my leadership skills have increased. And I think it is a great opportunity for everyone who's qualified, who is able to go, and you are a major reason as to why we can send so many people. So thank you so much. These students worked really hard in order to qualify at our state competition, and I believe they will work just as hard at international competitions to represent Pontiac on an international scale. So, with that preface, I'd like to pass it on to Nick Frickum, our Director of Fundraising.
Good evening, school committee, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Nick Frickum, as Nathan West just said, and I serve as the co-director of fundraising for our DECA club. This is my first year in DECA, and it has already been an incredibly rewarding experience. This year, I had the opportunity to compete at the DECA state competition, where I honored to place third, and I also earned a medal. Beyond competition, I have also been working closely with our leadership team, helping organize and support our fundraising efforts, so our members can participate in conferences and competitions. First, I want to sincerely thank the committee for your previous contribution of $2,000. That was more, from the bottom of my heart, seriously, thank you. That really helped us with our funds towards the state competition. Your support has played an important role in helping us continue our program and create opportunities for our students. I would also like to provide a quick update on our fundraising progress so far this year. Once again, thank you guys so much for the $2,000. Greatly appreciated. The fundraising team got together, myself and my friend Izzy, as last time. We had a bake sale at a couple of the football games. We were able to raise over $600. That may not sound like a lot, but when we're selling, a couple of Rice Krispies, homemade by the way, for $5, those are a lot of Rice Krispies, so it adds up. Our biggest fundraiser to date was our Carmel fundraiser. We were able to successfully raise over $18,000.
Wow.
Once again, thank you, DECA Dad right there, Mr. Mayor, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Absolutely everybody in DECA, they did their best. Our most recent fundraiser was our basketball halftime competition, which raised over $1,400 and still counting. We still have, I believe, 2 more games left with the girls, and we're going to be there at both of the games. Now I'll be passing it over to Andrew. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Hello, my name is Andrew Engelke. I'm a first-year DECA member, and so looking ahead with fundraising, we're looking to, we'll be launching a March Madness bracket, where obviously you enter in, you put down your bracket, and hopefully we're looking for around $2,500 to $5,000 profit from this tournament. We know other schools in the past have done this, and they have made a lot of money from it. So we're looking for some profit from that. We're also launching a family potluck dinner right here at Pontiac High School, where we will be inviting all parents and students from DECA, and we'll be giving them information on Atlanta. We'll be giving them information on DECA Club itself and how it works, why it's beneficial. In addition, we will be selling DECA apparel such as crew necks, sweatshirts, I believe quarter zips as well, which we estimate we could raise about $500 to $1,500 from that. And these efforts will help ensure that our members will have the opportunity to provide or to compete in Atlanta and represent our school through DECA. And thank you again for your time and your support. Again, I'm a first-year member. I was a second-place medalist at state CDC, me and my good friend Matt. And I believe DECA, it was a great opportunity for me. I just came out of the criminal justice and health and fitness pathway, not really knowing where I wanted to go from this. And I got word from my friend Matt asking me to join with him, and I did, and I'm so happy that I did. It really showed me, it opened up my opportunities as a student, as a learner, as a businessman and everything. I fell in love with the business world itself through this great program and club. And not to mention, at our last appearance here, we asked for $2,000, which is very, very greatly appreciated. It helps us out more than you know. And we come back again asking for more because we are sending 23 students to ICDC this year. As 30 qualified, we're able to send 23 people to ICDC. And for this competition, from the success from the state competition, we are requesting $8,000 in matching funds. And thank you again for your time and support, and I'll be passing this to Marley Bellotti.
Hi everyone, my name is Marley Bellotti and I'm a junior at Pontigansett High School and also the Chief Marketing Officer for Pontigansett DECA, so I essentially run the social media pages and stuff like that. So why we are asking for $8,000, I know that sounds like a lot of money, but this gives about 7 to 8 enthused students the opportunity to network, compete internationally, they can make core memories, compete in interactive, realistic business settings and challenges, which is basically what ICDC is. You're competing in a role play. And you can, of course, meet influential people from around the world, and this experience will ultimately change their lives as it has changed mine. This fundraiser changed my life, of course. I started my freshman year with a lot of low self-esteem and issues with public speaking, and I really didn't have any interest in business, but when I was looking for more ways to get involved in my school community, I found DECA. After ICDC, I found myself feeling more confident in my speaking skills, and I experienced the best week of my life in California first and then at Orlando last year. I made connections with people from places around the globe, such as Hawaii, China, Canada, India, everywhere, every single state. I unlocked my passion for business, and I really found something that I feel is a really big part of me as a person. I love business, and it's something that I seriously want to pursue as a career. And speaking of that, DECA has opened collegiate and career opportunities for me and so many other students like the one standing behind me. I was able to actually go to ICDC my freshman year and learn more about DECA because of this fundraiser. I nailed my interview. I did so good on everything. I walked out with second place medal at States, and I came up short on my test by 2 points. And I got a phone call that night, and they basically explained that because they had enough funding, I was able to go to ICDC, and that completely changed my life. That opened so many doors for me and really showed me what DECA truly is. We have already worked so hard, as these amazing people behind me have mentioned. We've raised over $19,000, I'm pretty sure, as a club and, of course, as a family, hosting incentives such as bake sales, basketball games, selling caramel candies, and of course selling and designing custom Pontigansett DECA merchandise. And now we need your help to make these dreams come true. Pontigansett DECA has been so successful that over half of our club qualified, competing against all of Rhode Island. Now let's grow this spotlight and give these deserving students the opportunity to take home DECA glass, competing against over 25,000 students in Atlanta, Georgia. You changed my life, so let's do the same for the rest of the people in this club.
I'd just like to say some closing words here. Thank you to everyone once again. Without your support, we wouldn't be as afloat as we are right now. Our club has grown exponentially over the past few years, and it has been a large part due to your support. We were able to send so many people to our international competitions, and as everyone was saying, it helped everyone who went develop themselves a whole lot. It wasn't just a business competition. It was something to help people grow and connect, and that's thanks to you. So you guys help us move mountains, and we could not be more grateful for that. So have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
Questions?
Can I ask you a question, Mr. Bragger, if you don't
Yes.
mind, please? First of all, you all did an amazing presentation, and you would kill an interview. As a business owner, I will tell you, I wish when I interview kids, they spoke as well as you did. So kudos to you, amazing. But the young lady who spoke amazing mentioned $8,000, which is fine, but you're only asking for $1,250.
Yeah, I know.
So am I missing something?
No, head scratching moment, it's my fault. So on the form, I saw $50 per pupil, so I estimated that by the cost. But then because of our excessive fundraising that we've done from grassroots, I figured while we were here, we could ask for a little bit more. I think we ran into that problem like last time we were here in December, so that's why we put that in our script, but yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're requesting the $1,250, is that what you're requesting tonight, or you're requesting more?
Well, we'd like to request more.
So how many students are going, are participating, 20?
23.
23?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
I appreciate clarification.
Yeah, no, you're correct. Yep. Yes, sir.
No, I just wanted to confirm, and thank you, Shelley, for bringing that up, because I know that, I believe in the request it said 25, but you're only sending 23 students, correct?
25 actually qualified, but yes, correct. 23 are going, yes. So They have a weird medaling process. You may medal first, second, or third, but some competitions only first and second actually qualify, and then some competitions you can only bring a certain amount. So we had to cut it down from 30 to 25, and then once that 25 number came through the door, Rhode Island DECA said, actually, we only have room for 23 of you because of the group size. So they're only allowing us to bring 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious because I know with our policy it's $50 per student, and I know that in here it says for 25, but we're actually only sending 23.
Correct.
So I don't know if we should amend the motion just in order to take off the $100 for the 2 students to $11.50. So
Well, also, they're asking for additional funds because of the extenuating circumstances that they're gonna be traveling.
Can you
So I don't
tell
know
us
if you
exactly
wanna-
how much exactly have you raised, and like what would be the exact number that you need to go on this trip next month?
Yeah, so we're just a hair above $20,000 right now.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'm lying, sorry. We're $21,000 right now. We're estimated to raise another between $2,500 to $5,000 before we actually leave for Atlanta between a couple fundraisers that were mentioned. But $25,000 would probably be where we need to be at to be comfortable in what we're doing. There's a couple activities that we do while we're down there in our free time so that we're not causing trouble at hotels and stuff like that, so.
May I ask, what do you suggest you're asking for here? Because I would think that we should amend the motion, have a discussion about that value, and then see what the
Exact
committee.
number that you
Yeah.
feel you would need in order to make this trip happen.
Well, the other portion of it too is that we'd like to leave some funds in reserve for next year, and to go into next year and not have the $1,500 for like our registration and stuff. That's something that I was concerned about going in. So to that $8,000 for transportation and travel costs and hotel fees and things like that, that would kind of leave us a little bit in reserve from the funds that we've already raised. So that's where that was. About $25,000 for the entire trip.
So the request from cell tower funds, though, if I'm hearing it correctly, is 8,000?
Correct.
So can I make a motion to amend Aaron's motion so that we are allocating $8,000 from cell tower funds?
I was gonna say if they need more money, they can come back, right?
For next year.
For next year. Like if they're at 21,000 now and they need 25, let's approve 4,000.
Sure.
And if they need more, unless you think there's a risk that you wouldn't be able to make the payment.
It's always a risk. And the thing about Atlanta, as opposed to Orlando last year, is that it's not a tax exempt state, so that's going to add to our costs as well, where we didn't have to factor that in last year for Orlando. So,
Dr. Palazzo just reminded me that our policy states that if we give them the money and they don't spend it, they give it back.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
if
right.
I don't want them to not be able to go. If we give it and you don't use it, that is then returned to cell tower.
Correct. Should we just second that, or
So-
if there's no second, that's fine too?
You have
but-
your motion,
Correct.
giving 8,000. Any other discussion? I'll second that.
Okay.
Is there any other discussion?
again, I completely agree with you guys and going, but I also think that this might be starting a slippery slope because we've also limited other activities and other groups that came before us to the $50. I think we've done that with other sports teams like cross country, baseball, etc. So in order to, I think that this could actually turn into that slippery slope, open up the door for, stuff going forward about why is one group favored over the other, if that makes any sense. So I think that's
Yeah.
where my reservations are, that I think that we should keep, if anything, I could see the 1,250, even though that they're only sending 25 students, keep it for the 23, give or take. I just don't think that if we open up the door to the more spending of the $50, it's going to open up many, many more doors that we're going to be spending left and right.
Beth?
My concern always with cell tower funds are the groups that come to us that haven't done fundraising.
Correct.
And expect us to pay the whole thing. No group. They even have 2 kids in charge of fundraising. I've never heard of that. And they've raised 21.
1,000.
Like, come on. They've done their part. I think we can get them over the hump.
And again, our policy says at our discretion, and it will be returned if they don't use it. The last thing I want, Aaron, is for them to not be able to go because they fell a little bit short, when they've put the effort in to raise $21,000 on their own.
No, I understand that. I truly do.
And I think that's the distinction that we would make when comparing it to some of the other groups that are also amazing that come before us. These folks have raised, 2/3 to 70% of what they need on their own over the entire course of their, they've planned, they've executed, they are tenacious, they're passionate.
No, absolutely.
And I don't think we see that a lot of the times with the groups that come before us. I think that's part of their mission. It's part of the program, and we do support them in doing that and growing further by approving things like this. And I think, should someone else come before us, I think that's something that we would bring up.
Music, or some of the classes that have put out those fundraisers, and again, not that they are trying to do as much as you guys are doing. And again, I'm not trying to belittle what you guys are doing, because to raise $18,000 is tremendous. I wish anyone could do that, basically. But I'm just afraid that's going to open up the door going forward.
I think they should start a fundraiser for this group, offering their services as consultants to some of these other organizations, so that they can have equal success in fundraising and organizational growth, because it really is amazing what they do. And like I said, it's not just a month before. They started in August, and it sounds like they're starting now in February for next year, which is, because they have succession planning in mind, which is, that's some pretty big thinking. Yeah, no, it really is. And that's something that should be celebrated. And I think that's part of what we do in supporting them here. That's the point of these funds.
Shelley?
Brent, Aaron, I would like to say I completely understand. I echo your concerns. But it is an international competition. This is international. That's where, because I completely agree. I usually steadfast when it comes to making this decision, because you don't want to set precedents. However, I don't know any other organizations that have moved forward with an international competition. So thank you for your hard work.
Thank you.
I would like to talk to you about a fundraiser before you leave at the farm.
Excellent.
So,
Thank you.
so, but I agree with you. I understand your perspective, but I would like to say this is an international competition, and I thank you guys for working your tails off. So that's all. But I do understand, and I do agree with your perspective, but because it's
And-
international, yeah.
Yeah. Any other discussion? I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? There it is.
Thank you so much. We appreciate
Congratulations.
it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was amended to 8. He said 8, I seconded 8. It was, Brendan and I. Should I wait for Shelley? Go. Number 9 is the finance update. Revenue and expense monthly for February. It's in our packets. We're gonna hold off on the FY27 budget till 8 o'clock. But
Yes,
did you
yep.
want us?
There's just one thing on the revenue expenses that I wanted to point out. We had a return premium on our workers' comp this month of $7,500, and that was due to our loss ratio going from in FY23 126.8%, which means that they paid out more in losses than they collected in premium from us. And last year that was down to 6.29%. This year to date, for this fiscal year, it's at 2.64%. So as a result, we've had return premium. And that's thanks to our human resource manager, Alyssa Napa, who implemented some new reporting requirements, awareness on slip and falls, taking action immediately after an incident, and making sure that the employees seek medical attention within 24 hours of injury.
Awesome. Alyssa's been great. Thank you.
May I
And
please
the-
ask, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Did you talk about budget yet for the 26th?
Let's wait till 8.
Well, no, not the 27th. I was gonna do the 26th, this current year that we're in.
Oh.
Can I ask a question about this current year that we're in?
Sure.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Do you want me to wait?
No, I was gonna hold off on the FY27 budget.
Yep, I'm not talking about that yet. Perfect. Have we used, I know I keep asking you, I'm like a broken record.
Yep.
The 400,000, have we touched it?
No.
Okay. How much was our state aid that we actually received this year?
I don't have the number for this year of what we've received to date.
The actual, well,
It's
no,
in
what
the
the actual
packet,
was
but-
for this year, because I know we were like not really sure what we were gonna end up getting, so I was just questioning what we actually received from the state. What our state funding, what we, I know what we budgeted, but I know it was back and forth on what we budgeted.
Right.
Because you get nervous about the projected budget, the projected amount that they're given. So I want to just see how true it was compared to what we budgeted last year and what we received, because sometimes they flip-flop, and sometimes it's less, and I don't want to.
It was more than what we budgeted.
Okay.
I don't have the exact number in front of me. I mean, I could look it up.
Was it pretty
but
equivalent to this year, the 6 million?
it went up, I think I do have that, how much it went up this year.
Oh, I have this year's in the budget. So I have this year's, but I just, you might
Right,
have it, how much it
compared to
increased.
last
Okay.
year, yeah. It'll probably take me a few minutes to find it in my
I'm sorry.
information here, but it was higher than what we budgeted for this year.
Aaron,
Okay.
if it gets close to 8 o'clock, can you let me know? I think we have to pause this, start at 8, and then we go back to this.
We don't have to rush through this.
No, we
Oh,
just
okay.
stop. Yeah, or 7:55. Oh. I think that's what Shelley's waiting for. But we're gonna just move through this at our pace, and then when we move to 8 o'clock, Aaron's gonna tell me. Okay.
Do you want to just go back to it, Cindy? That's fine. You can go.
No, I just was telling Aaron to let me know when we're close to 8.
That's what I'm saying. If you want to go back, if Ann's looking that up, we can get back to that. It was just, I want to hold up the meetings. I know you want to get through it so we can get as much done as possible prior to the hearing.
If we don't finish it, we'll just come
Go back, I know, reconvene, I know, yeah.
Do you want us to go into the superintendent's report and give you some time there? Yeah, why don't we not rush you? All right, we're gonna come back to her while she does the numbers, okay. Number 10 is superintendent's report. In your packet, you have the appointments and a retirement. Do we have any questions? For Dr. Palazzo? No, we don't need a motion. But are there any questions on the superintendent's report?
Madam Chair, I
Aaron?
would just like to thank Darlene Taylor for all of her hard work to the district, and I wish her the best of luck in her retirement, even though it's a little bit further down the road. But still, I wish her good luck with all of her future endeavors, and just want to thank her for her service to the district.
Thank you, Aaron. Anybody else? Okay. Number 11, snowstorm update on the blizzard of 26.
So as I said in the previous meeting, this was a doozy. Thank you, sorry. This was a doozy. And for those who had to hear my voice every single day saying again, this is Renee Palazzo, Superintendent of Schools, and here's my update. But I wanted to just update you on facilities where we were. I know some of you had reached out at different times to ask. We didn't have any major issues from the storm, which was good. I was in contact with both Steve and Gary regularly. I was in contact with Kathy as well on Foster. I really want to a very loud thank you to our custodial staff, our custodial crew. Their hard work digging out. They just kept digging out and putting more ice down, and then digging out and putting more ice down. But they were here on time, stayed late. They really made it so that when we're ready to receive our students, we were ready to receive our students. In addition, DPW, Gloucester DPW, amazing. Gary Trummel and his crew, a warm and honest thank you for lending a hand. They were here assisting our team if they needed it. Thank you to Hopkins Bus Company, brought up their loader and pushing back some snow piles. We just needed places to put the snow after days moving back. So just thank you. It really was all hands on deck, and I'm very appreciative of the partnership we have with those in town. Some proactive measures. We had a roofing contractor come out, assess it actually after the first storm. If you remember, we had said they were going to come out, and we had a little bit of leeway. Well, they came out and they cleared all the roof drains and some snow removal. They dug out the condensers for the kitchen fridge and freezers to prevent equipment malfunctions and freeze up. There were some unexpected challenges. That was one of them that you couldn't really predict. It was more than just removing snow and putting down some salt. But I will say we made out very well, all things considered. Gary and Steve were a tremendous team and leaders for their crew, and constant contact with me as well. So I just wanted to share that with you as a facilities update, that we are in a good place, and all things considered. And the 70-degree day is certainly helping out. Right now, it's welcomed, yes. If I can just go right into the school's calendar. I'm not sure if you know or not, but the superintendents were in contact with the commissioner on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We had daily meetings just talking through what this impact looks like for 180 days. And the commissioner was putting a request through to the Council on Elementary and Secondary Ed to see if some of those days could be waived. I worked with Kathy Crowley, Superintendent of Foster, and we put together a joint request to the commissioner to have all of those days waived, all 5 for the elementary schools, and then the region, we had 3 days out, the Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So we would get those 3 days back if it gets waived. If it doesn't get waived, my ask is to have the flexibility to remove our March PD day, because right now, if we have that day and these don't get waived, then we will have to come back on the following Monday. And we have a PD day that we would be able to pull back and have students attend. So I'd like to have the authority to be able to make that decision in the next week or so, depending on where we are with the waiver from the commissioner.
And if you don't get the waiver, you can still call for that day to be removed?
Yes.
I mean, if you don't hear back.
Correct.
Within the next 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
I just have one question. I know that you were talking about for the March 20th, is it March 20th? Is it easier just to get rid of that PD just in general and just still have that just be a regular school day and then, allow the students to get out a day earlier?
I don't know if it's easier, but I think that would be our plan, so we wouldn't have to carry over into the following Monday, and we would end on that Friday.
So then, should I?
Do you still want PD day if those days are not waived, though? I mean, if they are waived?
So this decision has to be made relatively quickly, right? Because we would have to let students and families know. So my hope and my goal is to follow up in the next day or 2 to see where we are with the waiver, what the time frame is for it. I don't know that yet. So if I find out tomorrow that it's waived, great, I can make one decision. If I find out it's not waived, then we can make another decision. So the flexibility of the March PD day.
The flexibility of
Yeah,
Okay.
and we would have to make that decision sooner rather than later.
Can I ask a quick question, if you don't mind, please? So I know that the high school was able to do virtual days.
Correct.
So if they're not forgiven, this is my only concern, is that the elementary schools weren't, because we didn't send tablets home because it was right after February break. So what happens there? So the high school students made the days, like they did the days because they had virtual days.
They did 2 days. They did Thursday and Friday virtual days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we did not have school.
So then it would
Those
just
days,
be,
yeah.
but
So
I'm saying
because
the elementary
Monday,
schools would have to be doing all 5, where the high school wouldn't have to. So it would just be like a makeup day for the high school if need be. Is that how we would do it? So because they're not equivalent. The
Correct.
elementary schools had missed 5 days. The high school only missed 3 days. Right?
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. So we would just, the elementary schools still match up, but the high school wouldn't have school. The high school and the middle school wouldn't have school. So if the days were not forgiven,
They don't currently end on the same days anyway.
Oh, they don't?
No,
Okay.
because of the last storm, the high school, middle school did virtual, and
Oh,
all 3
okay.
elementary schools did not. So
That's
we're
right.
not on the same schedule
Okay.
anyway. This is just to, yeah.
thank you for the explanation. I appreciate that.
So just make a motion to leave the.
Okay.
I make a motion to give the superintendent the authority in order to either cancel the PD day on March 20th or keep it as is.
Second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, let's go back to.
Can we ask some questions about the
Yes.
snowstorm too? I think everyone did a great job. It was a ton of snow that came down. Do you think there might be opportunity just to kind of get the group together that was sort of acting on items, that executive group that you had, the DPW heads, the bus companies, our maintenance teams, just to do a retrospective and see what went well, what didn't do well, what didn't go well, and what we can maybe do, ahead of time next time, just to get ahead of the storm, particularly as it might inform the budget. That's just a suggestion, sort of thinking aloud. And the second question I had, specifically, some of the things that came up in Foster, I think, were the DBW has so much snow. There was snow piles everywhere, and our bus company pushed back a little bit with regards to the snow piles. They couldn't see around them. So working with them and getting those two teams together maybe before the snow hits. So as they're plowing, they move it where it needs to be moved the first time, and they don't have to go back and touch it again. Things like that. The second one was where we're at currently with our snow removal budget. Hopefully we're done with snow for the year, but are we way over, and do we need to revisit it in our budget that we'll be presenting soon?
So can I just clarify, are you, is your ask that I just loop back with them? And
Just a
like-
suggestion.
like
Yeah,
some
do what you need to do.
reflections and
But yeah,
places of
yeah.
pick, or do you want a group assigned, an agenda?
No. It's just a
Yeah.
sidebar that
Sure.
sometimes in the
Sounds
moment,
good.
rather than, 6 months from now or in the middle of the next snowstorm, if everyone has some ideas that might have helped things go more smoothly or quicker. I mean, I think it went pretty well, all things considered, but.
That it just came, it came fast. and
Yeah,
long.
yeah. And the second one is, again, with regards to that budget, and I understand that, this is hopefully an outlier storm. If we do need to revisit what we are carrying for snow removal, now would be the time to do it. Last
Okay.
one
Yeah.
is, do we need to take a look at any sort of tree removal or safety in the woods? I don't know that anyone's had a chance to go back there yet, but if we need to start taking a look at that with regards to the snow and wind that we've experienced this winter, again, with regards to budget.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? All right, we're going to come back to you, Shelley. Ann has the numbers.
The state aid number for FY '26 is $5,643,498. 5,643,498. Yep.
State aid, right? Okay. Good? Okay. Next is number 12 on the agenda, technology update.
I make a,
Go ahead.
I make a motion for the internet bid as supported by the tech director and present it to Ocean in the amount of $10,500 as presented in the packet.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Next on the agenda is the discussion of the duration of the superintendent's contract. I know there's been a lot of buzz about this out there, so I just wanted to have this on to clarify. This has been our past practice by this committee. Back when Dr. Barnes was serving, as far back as 2008, he never served with a contract less than 38 months. In fact, three times his contract was renewed for over 40 months. So I need to be really clear, this isn't something that is new. This is something that this committee has done for years. When I looked back at our minutes, and these contracts were approved by the majority of this committee, and we go all the way back to 2008, we have 36 months under contract, 45 months under contract. The next contract signed by Ron, seconded by Steer, was 38 months. Then in 2015, we had another superintendent's contract approved for 41 months, proposed by Ron, seconded by Shelley Pezza. 2017, we had our attorney actually, for some reason, proposed that we extend it for 2 additional years, which was seconded by Audiello. Then in 19, we did it again, 38 months, proposed by Swanson, seconded by John Burlingame. We have, it continues. In 2020, we had it proposed by Swanson, seconded by Burlingame again, voted again by Mr. Steer. We have it in 2021, proposed by Ms. Pezza, seconded by Worthy. The fact that this became an issue a few months ago doesn't make any sense to me, because this has, again, been our past practice. When you try to retain exceptional leadership, that's what you do. And we've been doing that since, and I stopped going back. I stopped at 2008. So I just want to end the buzz that's going on around there and on social media and everywhere else, and explain that this wasn't something rogue. This was something well thought out. This is something we've been doing for years, and it's because we are thrilled with our administration team right now. There's no vote for that. I felt like I needed to clarify that we'll have public comment in a minute, unless you want to share. You want to come?
Cindy, may I say something first, if you don't mind, please?
Yeah, and I'm going to let him talk.
Oh, that's fine. No, yeah, I just wanted to say something, because I'm the one who asked this to be on the agenda.
Okay.
And it wasn't anything personal, it wasn't anything, and I do not question any of that in the past. Unfortunately, it's not that anything malicious has taken place. It's more of, it was an oversight. It was not realized, it was maybe, but the reality is, I asked actually for all contracts to be on the agenda, not just, I wasn't singling out Dr. Plaza. It was all, because I was not at the January meeting.
Yeah.
So it was all contracts that were approved at that January meeting, because all the contracts were in violation of the three-year state limit. So it was, like I said, it's nothing malicious. It's nothing about anybody, no, it's wrong. It's just, we didn't realize it was
Right.
violation of the state law. That's just, and now we realize it.
And we've also had the advisement of 3 attorneys through this whole process, with Anderson, Mary Ann, Carroll, and now Greg.
Yeah,
So,
that-
I mean,
And that's fine, but my whole, I understand you said we can't have a motion, but my concern is that according to 36-16-1 and 36-16-2, you cannot exceed no contract can exceed 3 years. So that
we're
is
not-
my,
we're extending it.
no, exactly, but they cannot be extended. So it's nothing personal, nothing about any individual employee, nothing at all. It's about, all right, it was an oversight before, we didn't realize it, now we do. So shouldn't we take action to make sure we're not in violation of 36-16-1 and 30-2?
Okay. Do you want to come up? Just hit the mic for me.
Yeah, Gary King. I was at that meeting and I brought it up that night. For no other reason. I don't particularly care whether you renew Ms. Palazzo's contract and all of that. I'm going by what I knew, which is statutory. Can I read off what the law is? No. If you go back and watch the video or look at the minutes, I even asked Greg about it, because I know what the rule is. You know, I may not be articulate as many people are, but I do know what I know. So if you wait 6, 7, 8, 9 months, now you're past that point, even though you guys were renewing contracts after I was off the committee for people up to 41 months.
48.
48. Just because you did it before doesn't mean that it's right. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So I only asked you, and I emailed all you guys, all right, to have it put on the agenda to be rethought, so you had a whole month to rethink it. To put it on the agenda, to rescind that portion on extending contracts past the point. Because, and I even made mention, so you do this, and then come November, 3 school committee members, if you will, in Gloucester, are not on the committee anymore. Just hypothetical. So your new 3 members coming in can do nothing about a contract. They have no say. And I think that that's what the legislators meant with it with the 3 years, because it said not to overstep past the term of any member. So,
Thank you.
look, you guys are going to do what you want to do, because that's what you do. but I did bring it up. I emailed a request to every school committee member, and let's see, I got CC'd with Shelley asking the same question.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other discussion?
So Cindy, we can't make a motion tonight?
No.
You can't, okay.
Next on is Life Touch. I know that a few people asked for this to be put on. Shelley, Aaron, and Michael. Do you want to start, Mike, or do you want to start, Shelley?
So there's been a lot of news circulating around with respect to Life Touch's connection to the files. I guess that's how we should refer to them. And so I think they've come out and attempted to explain any connection or lack of connection that they have to people implicated in the files. And they make a pretty compelling case, but there are still, I think, several reasons why we should reevaluate our connection to them. One is that they were bought by a parent company, Apollo Global, and the CEO of Apollo Global was implicated in the files. Even though the timeline separates them slightly, Leon Black still does own actually 7%, despite stepping down as CEO. So he's still affiliated with the parent company of Life Touch, and he's implicated, which I think is not a great thing. The second aspect is that Life Touch retains information on every student and faculty member that they've ever taken a picture of. Names, ages, classrooms, sometimes, depending on the circumstances, where you live. And I don't think that that is prudent. I also think that we could be promoting small business, parents, helping them out by outsourcing these kinds of things to people in the community. So I think for those three reasons, we should reevaluate our connection to Life Touch.
Shelley, did you want to?
He echoed everything. Mike, thanks. Took the words right out of my mouth.
Aaron?
No, I would also like to just echo this with Mike as well, because I brought it up in Gloucester as well. But I also think it's also best, in order to make sure that we're getting the best bang for our buck, in terms of, because I'm not even sure with this service agreement if there is a charge for us or whatever to pick them, of where there might be other options out there that, you know, in terms of privacy-wise or anything else, that we could also expand it to small businesses here in the state, here in the town, et cetera, that I definitely agree that we need to reevaluate it and see about possibly having Greg possibly look into to see if, like, what happens if we decide to get rid of it, say, you know, at the end of this year or whatever. Because do we know how long this contract is for?
2 years.
2 years? Was it just
No,
signed?
this is different. And again, this is just the middle school, from what I can tell. This goes through 2029, so.
2029.
It was just signed, I think, this year. It says 26 to 29, so.
I'm sorry, may I, if that's a bigger question, if it was just signed, do we have any wiggle room to remove ourselves from this agreement? Bringing to light the said allegations.
So what we did in Gloucester, I don't know, what did you guys do in Foster? What we did in,
We haven't had the meeting yet, because of
okay.
the, yeah.
So what we did in Gloucester was we asked Greg to look into the contract and to see what room we have to remove ourselves or to break the contract.
Again, this could be, you know, this is a multi-billion-dollar company. They might say, you know, who cares? You know what I mean in terms of if this is small potatoes compared to, say, like larger districts in this, you know, in the country. But again, I think that it's also a good idea to have a look at this, see about what we can do in order to get out of it, or something along those lines to see what our other options are, in my opinion.
And as I understand, I don't know if this is the same at the middle school, but from what I heard at the elementary level, we don't actually pay for anything. This is a contract to give the company access to, the PTO apparently organizes it, and they charge the parents. I don't know that we actually pay anything. So what would the potential breach of contract be?
It might just
what would
be
the
with the
damages be?
yearbook.
Loss of business opportunity? I mean,
They don't do our
I just, there's a, you know, this is, I never have gotten involved in any of this. This is the first time that this has been brought to my attention. Apparently, in Gloucester, you have one elementary school has it, the other doesn't. Maybe at the region, the middle school has it, and the high school has somebody else. Whether you want to have that kind of inconsistent, I don't, that's something that I think is worth you
Looking into.
revisiting.
I think it's definitely
Brendan?
something, and
Yes.
we're also coming closer to the time.
So what
Brendan?
specifically is the ask at this point? To
Well-
come back next month with a proposal to either,
Just to see if we can get out of
Sure.
the contract.
Yeah.
What the financial penalty would be if he reaches out.
if
There
any?
was one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At Gloucester, they said they had spring pictures, which were coming up. I think we agreed to let that continue.
Thank you, Aaron.
I don't know I don't know where you are in the contract. I could talk to Ms. Marcotte and see what, if there's anything to be done for the rest of this year at the middle school or not.
What do you think, Brendan?
Yeah, I think makes sense. You're asking to collect information and present something next month. I think that's wise. That makes perfect sense.
Any other discussion? So we don't need a motion, right, Greg? No. Is that all right? That we're good with that? Okay. We're approaching 8 o'clock. Do you want to try to get a few more in, or should we break for the budget hearing? Keep going? All right, we have the resolution in support of Foster-Glocester School Committee moving the financial town meeting from the third Tuesday in March to March 24th for this year only.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to support the resolution supporting Foster-Glocester School Committee moving the financial town meeting from the third Tuesday in March to March 24th, 2026 for this year only.
Second.
Any discussion?
What time is the meeting going to be held, and do we have the correct time in both? And can we articulate that out to both the representative and senator?
So I clarified that apparently at some point you changed your meetings from 8 o'clock to 7 o'clock, but the legislation was never changed to reflect that. Because the last time this was amended was in 1998, and it still says 8 o'clock. So I talked to Representative Chippendale's office and staff, and we made it clear that it will be 7 o'clock going forward. Because, like I said, I don't know when that changed. I don't think I was with you when that changed and why you changed it, but it will be changed. It will be changed from now on.
That sounds great. 7 works for me. But let's just make sure that it's in anything that's being passed at the state level so that there's no issues and that everyone in the community is aware of what time it is so that folks don't show up at 8 and wonder
They missed it.
when the party started.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? 0. Do you want, can you talk fast on that other one? You want to wait?
thinking maybe we should just take a break, and
Okay.
that way we're not rushing or anything
Okay.
like that. I think we've done what we need to do, and now let's get, in my
Okay.
opinion.
So we're going to break for 1 minute and then reconvene for our budget public hearing at 8 o'clock.
I make a motion to reconvene? Yes. Yes. I make a motion to reconvene to open session. I make a motion to reconvene to the budget hearing at 8 PM on March 10th for the public hearing on 2026.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions, okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait 1 second for, I don't know where Renee went. What? Yeah, we just made a motion. I call to order the Foster-Glocester Regional School District public hearing. I will see it in 1 second. On the back of the packet? Nope, I don't see it. Oh, I see it. Where's Renee? There are some of the budget packets printed on the back table if you, are they with Walt? No, they're right there, in front of the TV.
I'll get one for you, sir. Stay there, I'll get it for you. Yes. Am I in trouble? I'm like, uh-oh.
Okay, we're gonna get started now. I'm gonna go through some of the summary pages of the packet, and then we open it to questions, right? Is that, okay. So the local appropriation that we're asking from Foster and Gloucester is a total of $18,058,039. Our expenses for the general fund are increasing 2.81%, but we have offset that with expected increase in revenue, so that it is a 0% increase to the towns of Foster and Gloucester. The general operation portion of the budget is based on enrollment. And because of that and the way the numbers have fallen for Foster and Gloucester, Gloucester is getting hit with a larger portion. And so they're getting an increase where Foster is getting a decrease in the appropriation. That's on the general fund side. And then on the net and capital side, that's based on EWAC, which is in our charter that says that's how we need to allocate it. And because of the EWAC figures that have increased a larger percent for Gloucester, they're also receiving a larger portion of the appropriation this year. If you look on page 4 of the packet, our debt service for this year is $500 more than last year. We did have a bond that fell off of the pump, our pump service bond, but the amount that was allocated for that in the past came from our fund balance, so there wasn't an impact on our debt service number for this year. We have 3 years left on our bond for the middle school. If you look on page 5, shows the 2.74% increase. It's an increase of $882,852. And the majority of that is due to out-of-district placements. That's the line, that's the purchase, services, insurances, the 5500s. That's expected to increase $553,000 for next year, and that's for placements for special ed. If you look on page 9 of the packet, our proration adjustment, that's something that we have to do every year. It's based on enrollment. We use an estimated number for last year. We have to true that up with the actual enrollment number for this year. Foster is receiving $14,541 adjustment, where Gloucester is receiving a negative adjustment for this year. And on page 13 is a breakdown of our revenue. That's what we expect for state aid. We took that number from the January state aid projections that the state provides us. We have interest income. We have an amount of $120,824. That's what we estimate for the co-share for services that we share with Foster and Gloucester. Our tuition estimate, there is $4,582,812. With the total of $4,674,468, we do allocate a portion of that, the $91,656, that goes to our capital fund. Then we have Medicaid of $300,000 for, this is on the unrestricted revenues, $110,000 for categorical funding that we receive for our CTE programs, and then $400,000 for the use of the fund balance, which we had said earlier in the meeting we had not used this year or any years in the past, even though we have budgeted for that. And I think that's about all I have. Yep.
In regards to the bond, you just made a statement that the bond doesn't drop off for 3 years, but speaking with the financial manager from Foster, her calculations say it drops off, a big chunk drops off 27, 28 budget year.
Yes, so if you look at page 4, you can see where it does drop off 28 and 29, not in 27.
Oh, okay, she was under the pressure it was 27, 28. It's
Yep.
not-
No, you can see the net change from prior year. It drops $790,000 in 28, and then a small amount from that into 29.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
These questions might be more, I'm sorry. Are you done with your presentation?
Yes.
I don't want to, okay. It's very disheartening when we're taking $90,000 from literacy in the middle school. We cut in the literacy, it says literacy, literacy from the middle school. And then the budget office has a $90,000 increase.
What page is that?
I don't know. Because I did it on my computer. I didn't have the paper packet with me, so on the computer, just kind of scroll, because I didn't have the paper packet at home. I just had the computer, so I was scrolling. But was there a cut made at the middle school in literacy or reading, or, because that's what it showed up in the middle school?
So currently, we made a change this year, and we have a special educator in that role instead of a literacy teacher. So we had 2 literacy teachers last year. We have 1 literacy teacher this year. Oh, sorry, I apologize. We had 2 literacy teachers last year. We have 1 literacy teacher this year. And so that's now reflected in next year's budget. We'll continue with what we have this year.
So it's not a reduction per se, it's what you currently have in that position now?
Correct.
Okay. And then, but there is a big jump in the business office to $90,000.
So that might be moving of the positions. I don't know what page you're on. We can go to
Like I said,
salaries.
yeah, I didn't have, it going through, it's one thing about not having a hard copy, I can't highlight stuff to reflect. I know
we'll
you
do
can do it on your
salaries.
computer, I don't know how to do that.
Is where the salaries start?
Page 29. No, it wouldn't be that,
So you said-
it was in business
What was
office.
it, business office?
Yes.
Yep. That's because we added a position to the department, of financial analyst.
You did add a position. Okay, so that is an increase. Okay. And then there was a $6,000 increase in school committee under stipend. What was that for?
It's on the same page, correct?
Yep. It's at the top of the page.
Yep.
Page 29.
Yes, so you see how in FY '25, there was an expense of $5,940 on
Yes,
there?
yep, and then it wasn't there last year.
So it's an amount that's in the contract that we have been paying on. That's why there's an actual expense in that column for FY '25, but we weren't budgeting for it.
Okay.
So for FY '27, we added the budget.
What is it for?
It's for the school committee clerk.
Oh, it's just school
Yeah.
committee stipends, nothing
Yep.
new? It's just the school committee stipends in general, nothing new?
Nothing new.
Okay.
It's been in the contract, it hasn't been budgeted for.
Okay.
See the projected enrollments to come up next year, and maybe is that compared to previous years for Gloucester, Foster-Glocester, and of course tuition students. If you got a breakdown of those three categories, projected and past, say, couple of years.
So would you like me to get that to you, and then I can compile it, and then I can get it to you? Is that what you're asking? Okay, so you want projected enrollment for Foster-Glocester, our projected enrollment for,
Gloucester, and then Foster, and then
oh, okay.
Out of district?
Yeah, out of district students, okay, yeah.
Madam Chair, if I might be too bold, could that actually be part of our presentation as well? I'm thinking that it would be very informational to the public, just seeing as to, you know, for Foster-Glocester out of district coming in, that if we can add that to the presentation in 2 weeks as well. Once you get that information, obviously give it to you as well, sir, but also have it just for the presentation in 2 weeks.
Are you asking for the number now? I mean,
well, if you got it.
yeah,
If you don't
can we
have it,
just,
that's fine.
we have, like, this year, right? It's in the budget.
So I don't have. I think he said projected, so he wants kind of the projected, and we can give a multi-year projection, we have that.
Yeah, I don't,
So not just this year, you mean future years? Or do you want to know on this budget?
As far as next, this budget,
Oh, so this budget? That makes sense. That makes sense. That's what we're talking about, so yeah.
We'll definitely include that. Yes. Well, do you want to come up?
Walter Steer, Gloucester. Yeah, in the past, we've always had a graph in the budget that tells, usually for the last 3 or 4 years, how many from Foster, how many from Gloucester, and how many from out of town. So I think if you look back at some of the budgets, you'll see that we have a graph in there that represents that, so. I think we may even have had one last year.
Okay.
Because the Foster-Glocester population is going down. Although this year it is going up 2 students, I think, but in the past 3 years, we've lost over 100 kids, I think. I've got a few questions. The first one, I'm glad to see there's a year-to-date, July to December of this year, the money we're spending. So that's very helpful to tell what we're budgeting for next year, if we're spending any money in those accounts. And I did talk to the business manager about some of the descriptions. They have account numbers, and then you have a description. And a lot of the people in the business offices or in administration, there was usually it told you what that position was. It didn't give you a name of the person, but it gave you like it was a clerk or a business manager or a superintendent, principal. Now, I guess because RIDE didn't like some of the terminology we were using, that they want to just put down regular salaries. So that doesn't tell you anything. If you don't know much about a budget, you can't tell what you're looking at. So I think we got to go back somehow so people will know what that
Which positions?
line item represents.
Yep. I can explain why it looks like that. All of those lines are downloaded from our accounting software, and we updated the descriptions in there to be consistent with the UCOA codes that RIDE requires. So regular salaries is that 51110. That's how RIDE has it in our system. So in order to efficiently download it from Excel and not have to manipulate the data, once we do that, that's why it has that in there. But I understand what you're saying, because I think that before they were pulling the object code, which is the regular salary, but also then the job class.
Correct.
Yeah.
And also, on page 14, we have legal services going up. And also, right at the bottom of the page, it has administrative support. And there's also another administrative support on the next page. They're quite a bit of money.
Are you talking about the lines that say admin support?
Yes. Because we budgeted $8,000 for this current year, and we spent only $2,500 so far, but we're raising the budget up next year to $25,000.
Right, so the one that is on page 14,
Yep.
that's what we pay for our services for Northwest Special Ed. So that's why we have that increase in there, because we're not gonna be.
Okay, that was gonna be
Yeah.
another one of my questions.
I don't off the top of my head know I don't remember what the admin support is for business office. I would have to look that one up.
But you said, on that line item, it says we haven't spent any money this year. We must have spent some money.
For which one? The
For
Northwest
special
one?
ed, for the Northwest Special Ed. If you say that's what that budget's gonna be for.
Correct. Well, the billings just went out for that one, this month, for Northwest.
We get 6 months before we have to pay?
Well, we had a lot of coding changes to do because we took over as Northwest Special Ed, so they went out later than we had planned.
Do we have any new updates on the numbers for health and dental?
Use it this year, for next year.
No, I did check with them recently. We did not have an updated number for that.
All right. Also on page 14, near the top, claims and settlements. Can you explain what that is? And we didn't have much budgeted, but we spent quite a bit in this current year.
I see it. Oh, wow.
It's 24 and 25, it's not 26.
No goes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6th line down from the top.
This is this year.
Okay.
I think he wants to know what next year is.
Gotcha.
The claims and settlements, that's the legal claims and settlements.
Seems like we've been having more of those. share what those were, or?
Can we share with our legal? What's he asking?
Isn't that in central office, though? Why are there claims and settlements in central office? Because that's what, it's under central office, so I'm just asking, why are there claims and settlements in central office?
And that's how RIDE wants us to code it. I mean, that's where any claims and settlements that we have, they want us to code it that way.
It doesn't make sense yet. I don't know why it would be in central office. Yeah.
As far as the admin support for business office, that's where our fees that we pay for Medicaid billing go. So the more Medicaid claims we have, the higher that is, but that's offset by Medicaid revenue.
Yeah, I don't know. There must be some easier way to let us know, you know, some of these things. We ask the same questions every year, and then, you know, we get the same answers that, well, it's not what you think it is, it's something else. I don't know, it just seems, you know, either that or it's on a different line.
I think the problem is with the system that we are forced to use.
Well, I agree with you, Cindy. Yeah, I agree with you.
Right, I mean, RIDE dictates how we code things. If we use a wrong code, we have a whole software that we use to put in the code string, and if it's wrong, it tells us we can't use that.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, we have to, if we use the wrong code, we have to move that out. So,
Can't the
I mean, a
school
lot of it is
districts get
dictated by
together
RIDE.
and do something about this? You know, all these numbers now, it never used to be like this. You know, you can remember a few years ago, it was a lot simpler. How they came in with all these codes and,
I mean, we haven't changed the format since
No, we haven't
I've
changed the
been-
format, but if you remember, the first 2 years in, there were a lot of adjustments in the budget that looked like some lines went down and some lines were significantly higher, and it was working through those UCOA changes that RIDE required. There's a report that gets sent back from RIDE, and you can't move forward until you make those
Yeah.
adjustments.
But
So I hear what you're saying.
we've
but
had this
it's-
system now for almost probably 10 years, you know, but it seems like they keep changing it all the time. But I guess that's not gonna change, but, I think I got one other one on, page 35. It's stipend other, it's about maybe 10 lines down,
What page, Walt? I'm sorry.
35. And there's a $49,000 figure for, that's an actual for 25. This year, we, put in 43, but we haven't spent any money yet from July to December.
How many lines down?
10.
I might-
The stipend or the salary that you're looking at? Will?
It could have something to do with athletics, because there's a couple other items close to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say a couple lines up, there's a increase about the same number. Yeah.
See, that's another one of those. They put stipend other instead of putting the position that we, you know, that it is.
Well, actually, it's getting removed from the other and going into the position that it is in that case. It'd be going into the athletic.
She's looking that up. Well, you said you had one more other than that one? She's
Let me look. Yeah, so we're budgeting money for the Northwest Special Ed, but we don't really know what we're gonna be doing.
Well, we're budgeting for the services that we have. So you'll have a director of special ed. We have to have that anyway. And we're meeting with Situate and still working through what we would share. So we budgeted in here, because we have a contract with the director, and then we do not have an assistant director. We may
So
just.
that's a director and an assistant, that's the people who are gonna be running the program?
Yeah, so we have a director of special ed, and we have an LEA coordinator.
that were part of Northwest Special Ed. They are you talking about people in the district or the people from Northwest Special Ed?
Yeah, so our director of special ed was a part of Northwest Special Ed, and now he's with Foster-Glocester, and we're still a part of Situate. We're working with Situate to see what that relationship looks like. I'm comfortable we probably will share some services.
Oh, okay.
To get back to the stipend, that's coach stipends.
That's what?
For coaches. Stipends for coaches.
Yeah. How come we're not spending any money this year?
Those just haven't been paid out as of when we ran this
What?
report. They weren't paid out as of when we ran that report.
Okay. All right. It's very confusing. But that's all I have.
Thank you, Walter. Are there any other questions?
Anticipation sometimes at financial town meetings is low in the past, but last year was pretty, the building was full, the auditorium. I just wondered, in years where there's been a big anticipation of a lot of school, we often go on to a bigger room. Gym or something like that. I don't want any anticipation of needing that, a bigger space.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, two things, the big drivers. On page 5, the cover page, just because there are significant increases. Purchase professional tech services, that's a 13.92% increase of $135,329. In addition to the purchase services, insurance, I know it says insurance, but still it's a huge increase of $642,842. So what is the driver of these two things? Is there an explanation?
So I can tell you for the purchase services / insurance, the $55,000, that is for, $553,000 of that is for out-of-district placements for special ed that we anticipate needing next year, an increase of $553,000. Off the top of my head, I don't know the 135. I would have to probably research that and get back
Yeah, I just
to you,
didn't know what
but-
the purchase professional tech services was. I just didn't know, because that was $135,000 as well. So I didn't know what it was. That's all. I think it would be good to know, because those were, I know, I'm very well aware you can't change salaries, you can't change benefits, and those are big drivers as well. However, it's those, because I'm unfamiliar with those mean.
Right.
And then if I could, while we're doing that, I'd like to go back to the school committee on page 29 of 61. There are two stipends. Cindy, you're correct. So there's two increases. One of $540. I didn't know what that was for. And so the $6,000, I still don't know what that's for, because our stipend is the one above it, I'm assuming, even though we don't get that much.
Your
But-
stipend is the one above it. I did budget in a 2.5% increase. That's where you get that $540.
Yeah, but we don't get increases, so.
Right,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, we don't get the increases, that's not,
I
yeah.
think I budgeted in and
unnecessary.
we just never really
Yeah,
discussed it.
that's fine, so
but,
that's not necessary.
yeah.
And the 6,000, that's what I'm still curious about, because we're in the line above it, so I don't know what that 6,000 is for. I know you said it was there before, it could have been an oversight, and that's why we took it out. I just don't know why it's there, who it's for, and what it's for.
Are you still on 29?
Yes, I am.
It's for the school committee clerk position. That's why it's under school committee.
Oh, it's a clerk position?
Yes. Yep.
Isn't she, okay, so she's not under, we don't have a separate clerk line?
That is the separate clerk line.
Oh, it just says stipend, so I thought it said before, I thought it said, I thought it was under her
Under
name before.
salaries, or it's
Yeah, I
always
thought it
been
was-
under
no,
stipend.
Okay, and we just took it out last year?
It wasn't budgeted for. I mean, I would have to go back and look and
That's
see,
fine.
but if it wasn't budgeted for in FY '26, but there was an actual expense in FY '25, we expect an expense in FY '26, so I added a $6,000 budget for FY '27 to be more accurate.
Okay, thank you. And since we're talking about the budget and we're creating the budget, should we discuss, prior to the budget being accepted, what the anticipated stipend would be if we were to do the APRA coordinator? I'm just saying, because it's only fair to the taxpayers to have it in the budget prior to the approval. That's all it was implying. Okay. And I think, so yeah, so if we,
We've got 9 more? Since the last meeting, we got 11. They're coming in at record
So, yeah, so I was just, yeah, so if we could have those answers for the financial meeting, that would be fantastic on those tech services. What's that? Yeah, but I'm just saying the other two, these drivers. But I was just trying to, transparency, so if you want to have a special meeting prior to that. I'm back on that, on the other page, because she said she didn't know. I'm all over the place, keep up. So the big
Page five.
drivers. Back to 5, yeah, so if we could have that information prior to the financial meeting, because I think taxpayers were gonna ask that too, because they're big drivers in the budget. And I also had quite a few taxpayers ask me the capital projects that were completed. And I know we as school committee members know, but the community doesn't know. So I do think it would be very helpful for the community to know what we've accomplished in our capital projects. Perhaps put it on our website prior, and then also have handouts available at the meeting.
So we did, so just yes and thank you.
Okay.
At last year's presentation, the financial town meeting, we went through our projects that we had completed, what year we completed them, and what our anticipated projects would be, and we would follow that same process. I just want to be clear what the ask is for another meeting, is how much we would anticipate for an APRA coordinator position. What is the increase for the line 53,000? And I just want to clarify that the 53,000, if you look at, and I understand, Walt, it's confusing, but the 53,000 that Ann's talking about.
On page 5?
No, well, you reference page 5, but if you look at the entire budget.
Okay.
And you look at the UCOA codes, they're in chunks, 1, 2,
Oh,
3,
so it
4,
all
5.
adds up.
Anything that has a 53 ... falls under that. So purchase services could be conferences, they could be legal services, they could be catering. It's anything that is a purchased service. So we can.
Okay, so that's, now I know that I have this, I can highlight it and I'll help me, that's helpful, thank
Right,
you.
it's
all
not
code.
one line item, it's probably multiple
Yes,
line
it's all
items
code
that
things,
add
so
up
I
to
can
the
do that math, so.
135.
Thank you for
Yeah, it's
dumbing it
anything
down
with the
for me.
53.
I appreciate that. You got it, I don't do this lingo, so, thank you.
Yeah, so is the ask for us to do something on that and see if we can?
If you wanted to do, if the committee was willing to do a stipend, I think it should be prior to the financial meeting, for transparency's sake, for the budget and for the taxpayers.
I'm sorry, my clarification was, did you want us to break down the 53,000 and see where?
Oh, no, I can do the math now.
Okay.
I'm sorry, yes, sorry, yes, I can do that math now that I know, so I'll go by the UCOA lines of the 53 dash dash. Is that what it means?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I did not know that, so thank you.
Fiscal also did say if we're going to move forward with the stipend, that it's a position, it doesn't have to be Kyle, just somebody that's doing it. We have to figure it out. They're just coming in at record numbers. But I mean, that's in 2 weeks, so we either have that discussion now or.
You can have it prior to the meeting, you can have a meeting prior to that one. If you wanted to, if the meeting starts at 7, you could have it at 6:30. I'm just, if the committee was willing
Yeah,
to.
but do you want it built into the budget though, or
Yeah,
should I bring it up?
Well, how hard would it be to add that?
Well, I'm saying 30 minutes before the financial meeting, and she's not gonna be able to.
Well, no, but
Just the
if they
budget.
kind of have an idea, what they, because that was the directive of the superintendent of the committee last time, was to give the superintendent the authority to come up with a number, bring it back to the school committee, and for us to make a motion. So the superintendent, it's on her to come up with a dollar amount. Then it'll be on us to approve it. So they can put it in there, and then if it's voted down, it's crossed off. I mean, it's not gonna be like $1 million. So we could do like a yes or no, like it's added or not added.
And is it thinking that we would increase the appropriation for that amount, or do we need to adjust the budget to decrease the
Well,
line somewhere
I think it's not
else?
gonna be that significant. I mean, it's,
Right, but that's, we'll need to know that.
well,
I
that's
think,
what I'm
right,
trying
for
to say. I think if we're going to do this, I think it's only fair to the taxpayers to see it in the budget, that we're being fair and transparent.
That's what I'm saying is if we can't decide on that 30 minutes before the meeting, if the budget has to be adjusted for that increase. So if anything, it has to be done sooner.
It's the 6,000 that's in there is what we're talking about, correct?
No.
No, so we're talking, I see.
School committee clerk.
Understood now. So this would be on top of it.
Here it is.
Yeah.
So you can see where it is. What Shelley's asking, I believe, is how much the APRA coordinator would be compensated for next year, and to have you approve it or not. And then if approved, include it in the budget. But our question is, do we have to increase the budget, or could we do a line item adjustment?
I mean, that would, I don't want to increase the budget to the taxpayers.
Yeah, what I'm saying is if we have to talk about it, we have to do it sooner than later, because if she needs to change the budget in whatever fashion to account for it, that can't happen 30 minutes before we're supposed to present it to the public to vote on. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it had to be discussed, like,
That's why I was saying, like, if
Sooner
it was
than
in
later.
there, you could, I know what you're saying, and say,
Yeah.
yes, this was approved or not approved, and what is it gonna be? Like, it's not gonna be a big dollar amount, that's gonna be a major addition.
So can we add the line item in there, just nominally fund it for the time being, and then
But
we
it's
can
not
just-
on the, it's not on the agenda tonight, we can't do it this evening. Is that, what do you mean, Brendan?
Could we amend the budget that's currently being presented to add that line item in there as needed with some nominal funding that can be adjusted as needed by the superintendent? Placehold it.
I agree, but I don't think, can we do that this evening, considering it's not? Well, we're discussing the budget, but we're not having, yeah, we're not, okay. We can't really discuss we can't, well, the amount was one thing, but you can't discuss the position, you can't discuss anything else, because it's not on the agenda, that's all I was saying.
If we're not looking to change the appropriation, we could do a budget adjustment after the fact, once it's decided on.
Okay.
I mean, that's probably the easiest, if you want my opinion, but it's up to you guys.
Yeah.
You good with that?
Yeah, we'll do it after the budget then. We'll put it in, it'll be after that meeting, the financial meeting. Because then we'll just do a line item adjustment. Is that what you're implying? Yeah. Because there won't be enough time. We've done it in the past. Okay.
Are there any other questions? Yes.
I'd just like to see a per pupil cost over the last several years, because I think that would help break down what the budget is from year to year, and what we're spending per student. So per pupil cost for the last like 5 years.
Going back 5 years?
Yeah, that would help, because like these numbers are big lofty numbers when you look at it, but then if you look from year to year, how much are we actually spending on each student that's enrolled?
Sir, can I have your name?
Corey Beltram.
I'm sorry.
Corey Beltram.
What town?
Gloucester.
Thank you.
Can I just ask a clarification? Are you looking for rides per pupil, what ride identifies as our per pupil expenditure over the last 5 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want like your email address and we give you that answer, or do you want it just? Do you want to present it at the?
I think it'll be advantageous at the meeting for everybody to know.
That's fine, I just want. I think we have another, do we have another? Let him go first.
Gary King. It's just an observation. I know it's a school district, but it's a $30 million company. Come on, guys, let's get this thing together. This thing needs to be tight. Tighter than a duck's ass on who knows what, how things work, where budget lines are, what they're for. You know, you've got a 65-page report there with all these repetitive lines. Why not put a better description to it? So that you don't have to know by the code, or by the number, or the charge number, or the account number. Look, I dealt with companies that are bigger than the $30 million, and I don't have that for a problem. Not even close. So please, you've got till the 24th.
So is your ask a different format for the budget?
I'm not asking for a different format. I'm asking for somebody to understand the format that you have.
Is there, I think we've answered every question that's been asked.
Right, and I'm sitting over here still looking at myself going, it's not the format we used before. There was more detail to it. Said exactly what it was for. You know,
We explained that.
how many professional service lines do you need in every different charge account?
I mean, ask RIDE.
Yeah, you can ask RIDE that. That's
You know
how
what?
RIDE requires us to record.
It's a good
things.
thing I'm not on the committee, because I tell RIDE to
You
take
can
a
still-
ride,
you-
because they are not the ultimate arbiter of education, especially in this state. Because if they were, we would all be top-performing schools.
That's why we provide the summary reports, the pages in the beginning, the summaries, and then we give you all the detail. If you want to look, I mean, it's by every line. This is how we record it.
Yeah,
and
I
there's
read
nothing.
it. I'd rather watch that paint
Okay.
dry on that wall. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I ask a quick question? Does this, yep, just 1 second. I'm sorry, give me 2 seconds. Does this budget reflect cost sharing of facilities as it did in the past? Are we, it's like, we used to cost share, like under John O'Burka, we cost shared. When so we are cost sharing facilities men now? Where they're no longer getting a separate contract?
Not facility. This reflects the current model that we have with cost sharing, and Ann shared that at the beginning. It's a separate line of revenue, just as it's always been.
No, I understand that, but are our facilities director and assistant, are they cost shared with Foster, and like with Gloucester again, not Foster, Gloucester? Is that revenue from Gloucester coming back to the district to offset their salary?
They're not cost shared.
They're not cost shared, okay. Well, they were prior.
They were years ago.
Well, Steve, our facilities director was cost shared with Foster until we pulled out because Gloucester wasn't. So that's, I wanted clarification that if this budget reflects that or not. I didn't know if it changed. Okay, thank you.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, just state your name.
I'm Renee Cattell from Gloucester. I have a few just general questions. Again, I'm working on getting educated about how this whole process works. I graduated from Pontiganset, love the school, love the district. Don't have any kids here today, nor will I. But it's an excessive amount of money that we spend every year, year over year. And until very recently, probably in the past year or two, I hadn't realized when I came to vote that I was only voting for the region, not for schools overall in Gloucester. So first point of clarification, is this committee here strictly for the Foster-Glocester Regional, and none of you serve on the local Gloucester or Foster boards?
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that helps, just to understand there is some involvement and crossover there. You know, just following on some of the other comments before as well, I think greater transparency is really critical. There are a few residents that actually vote on the school budget, which is a sad state of affairs, but the reality is most people can't understand this. And if you have a recent hire, I think you said it's an analyst, they should be able to create great pictures that depict what's in here in detail in an understandable format for most. It would work wonders. So maybe we can try to move to that to make it easier to understand. But some specific questions concerning enrollment. What's the maximum capacity for enrollment at both the middle school and the high school? Do we know that?
We have been higher in both buildings. We are not at our maximum capacity.
What's the number?
I don't have that with me, but I certainly could get it both buildings.
I think from a relevancy standpoint, it would be very helpful to understand what the maximum capacity is for both of the schools. Also, from a student to teacher ratio, you know, what is the average classroom size in both facilities? And then I guess, you know, shared services have come up. I've seen it in the paper. I myself question it too. What do we mean when we talk about shared services? And when that's reflected in the budget, can we break it down more specifically? What does that really mean? Does that mean a certain portion of, say, overhead administrative expense is garnered toward high school, middle school, or does that also involve, you know, the local school? I heard something about a potential relationship with Situate. What exactly does that mean? And putting that into some sort of a footnote disclosure, again, I think is being more transparent so that people understand what they're signing up for. And that's all I have for the moment. Just the other questions were points that I'm interested in as well. So thank you very much.
Excuse me, what was your first name again? Sorry.
Renee.
Renee, thank you.
Oh, that's mine.
Are there any gonna summarize
Yeah,
it.
so just if I could summarize a few things. So what I'm hearing, and moving forward, next year's budget, some of what we present at the financial town meeting would be beneficial if it's shared beforehand, and we certainly can do that. Charts, graphs are always extremely helpful, I understand that. And our goal is to make this as easy of a process as you can, so you can understand where the money is going, yes. I will also say that in the meantime, until we get to that point, if there are any other questions that come up in the next week or so, obviously, Ann and I will answer them. And if there's anything else that is, enrollment questions, yes, we have those projections, yes, we have where we've been, and then the out-of-district students. So just to clarify, shared services, Foster-Glocester, we do have some with Situate. We'll put that in the presentation. Enrollment numbers, always important and helpful. Capacity, student-teacher ratio, actually had that student-teacher ratio last year, so we'll mirror a lot of what we did last year. Capital projects, absolutely. Per pupil cost over the last five years. I think those are my big summaries that we will definitely have in place for the financial town meeting. Our goal here is obviously, and some of you know, some of you don't, I'm a town resident as well, so I live in town. My kids went through the school as well, so the more that we can help you understand where the money is spent, and we did work really hard to ensure that we could minimize the amount that's coming from the local appropriation. So any additional questions, if they come over the next week or so, and you certainly want to email Ann or me or call, we will be more than happy to answer those questions. Mr. Anderton?
Just one more. Per pupil cost, if you could track the difference between what you were paying for town students and what we're going to be paying for out-of-town students next year.
Do you mean tuitioning in, coming in, or do you mean the tuition in kids?
Differences over the years.
Thank you.
Maybe
Yeah.
like
Yeah, so what I'm understanding is how much we have received per in
No.
tuition per.
not per student, but, as a student, and maybe you might want to include any of the new requirements of the right, like having to do all that record for them,
Having what?
having to do all that record keeping for them, the new students.
Yeah, that wouldn't be an additional cost, but what we'll do is we'll break it down so you can see where, for the out-of-district students who come in, how many students we have, what the tuition is associated with that. In addition, we get grant funding and categorical money that comes with those students, so it adds, or it helps with the per pupil expenditure. So we will have that clarified. I know there are many questions and some misunderstanding around out-of-district tuition and what it looks like and how much we get and whether Gloucester's is higher or Foster's is higher and what Pontigan's looks like. So we will work towards clarifying all of that so that it's easy to understand. And I'm a chart and graph kind of person as well, so it will be visual. I think that's the best way to do it, right? Okay? Thank you for the input.
Any other questions or concerns?
Mike?
Who?
No, your mic.
I thought you meant Mike.
Oh.
Any other questions or concerns regarding the budget? And again, reach out prior to the meeting so that if questions come up, so that we can address them, make sure we address them at the meeting. All right, thank you.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to adopt the fiscal year 2026-2027 proposed budget as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Abstentions? And Amy's here.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to adjourn the public hearing at 8:50 PM.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Sorry, throwing things at you.
Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Thank you. Do you need a minute? Okay.
I think it would
Just
just
take
take
it.
all the snow.
Yeah, we could take a minute. Aaron's gonna talk about. What's the matter, Kyle?
Hey, Amy. I knew you were coming.
We didn't get to your next.
I didn't see that. Yeah, I see that.
We didn't get
We're
to
at
that yet,
16.
but it
Yeah.
was fine in Gloucester.
Okay. I'm sure it's a little different here. No, I didn't. But I finished up and I was like, you guys are still here. So it's fine.
Okay, so we're gonna continue on with the meeting. We left off on number 16, resolution in support of Rhode Island House Bill 7356 and Senate Bill 2216, school employee background check. I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm not sure. I think Shelley asked for this agenda item, so I don't know if she wants to make the motion or.
No, go right ahead. Yeah,
Okay.
no, so whatever you want to do, Brendan.
So I'm going to make a
Aaron,
motion
thank you.
to support the resolution supporting Rhode Island House Bill 7356 and Senate Bill 2216, school employee background check as presented in the packet.
Second.
Aaron, Shelley, Pezza. All right, discussion. Do you want to say what you said last time for the Gloucester meeting?
Well, because in Gloucester I did propose it, in which case we decided to bring it.
Pull it up a little bit.
We decided to bring it to policy in order to look over the resolution on top of possibly strengthening our policies in terms of hiring as a whole. That's what we did in Gloucester. Again, since this is your agenda item, I didn't know if you would like that to continue on here. But that's what we did in Gloucester. I'm more than happy to say do that here in the policy as well, because I do think that we can strengthen our policies and look over our policies of hiring and see about if we can't strengthen them, see about what we can do to strengthen them. I know that we have them coming up. I believe our next policy meeting is March 23rd. If I'm correct on that, we can bring those up as well as take a look and then have, say, a resolution, possibly either with more teeth or any adjustments that might be needed to said resolution or whatever, and bring it forward on the April meeting.
So I appreciate that, Aaron. I truly do. However, I don't think a policy is going to make much change to this right now. I think I was at the State House when this bill was brought up, and unfortunately, there is a lot of pushback.
There is or there isn't?
From the union.
Oh.
There is a lot of pushback from the union as far as doing the background checks, and so getting that, you would have to do a contract change, would have to be negotiated into the contract. And if it's a House bill, however, if it's state law, there is no negotiating. Doesn't have to be in the contract, you don't need a policy, it's state law. So the committee can vote however they would like to vote. I do fully support this, because I think we need to take whatever measures we have to protect our children.
There's some clauses in here that might not be strong enough, though.
Well, that's.
In other words, this doesn't, I don't think this line aligns directly or exactly with the actual law that's being presented, that they're discussing.
Well, this
right
was
now.
presented by a Coventry member gave this to me.
Yeah,
But is
that
the
was voted
wording-
on.
But is
wrote
the
it?
wording the same as
The Coventry School Committee president had his solicitor write it. And he forwarded it to me after they approved it, and then it went on to other districts as well that had approved it. But I received it from this Coventry School Committee chair.
Does it align directly with the
I don't think
law that's-
directly. I think because what it is, the law is still in the works.
Committee.
They're
It
still
is.
tweaking it, I think, I asked for it to be on to show that we support this, that we recognize something needs to happen. We have to take measures, whatever measures necessary to protect our students. And if it's doing more extensive background checks, but if, like I mentioned before, if it's a policy, you can't enforce it because it has to be negotiated into the contract. And then that's why the unions were speaking against it at the House bill. However, if it's state law,
no, you finish first.
if it's state law, there's nothing to negotiate.
100%, but what I think Aaron was saying was in the resolution that we send forward, because we're all, well, I'm not gonna speak for everyone. The majority of us are in favor of strengthening this area.
Yep.
That there are tweaks that we might, as a committee, want our resolution that we put forward to the Senate to say. In other words, we're just, instead of just adopting
Okay.
another committee's, we might want to add something.
I just don't want it to, I understand what you're saying, but I know things can take weeks, but we don't have that when it comes to the state committee. It's on the docket, And at that,
When is it coming up? Do you know?
it's been up. It's been
I know,
on the
but
House
when is
floor.
it-
Again, I don't know.
Is
This has
it
been
up-
a constant, it's regularly heard.
They held it for study, so we do have time.
Okay.
One of the concerns I have is there's nothing in there about ride. So when a teacher is reported or a staff person is reported, there's nothing in there that says, why isn't there a red flag? Why isn't there a hold?
And may I speak if you don't mind, please?
Oh.
So I agree with you wholeheartedly, and that was brought up, but unfortunately, we can't dictate what RIDE does.
I know,
That's-
but if
I
it's
know you want to
state-
support it. I understand. Yeah, that
But
makes
it's-
sense.
if it does come out of committee and they do this, they can write whatever law in RIDE will have to follow the law. So that's one of my concerns. The other concern, I think, is the 5th paragraph down, where it said, any allegation whatsoever would have to be reported when you're applying for a job. Working in the schools as long as we have, there are false allegations. People are cleared, thank God for cameras all over the place. People are cleared, pretty quickly. If somebody has to report that there was a false allegation, I've sat on enough committees where we're hiring and you're looking at resumes. If I see anything red flag, I'm like, they don't get an interview. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But if it's false, that's not fair. Those are my two. So I think we can, plus that sentence wasn't in the bill.
No, okay.
That was just
Added.
in the resolution.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's one thing to support like the bill overall, and it's another thing to support another committee's resolution that we
So
have really
perhaps
looked over.
we could, I'm sorry, Mark,
No.
perhaps we could reword the motion to support a resolution, support the bill and create our own resolution, just so
Right.
that way we're showing our support for the
Right.
bill, and that something needs to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll pull my second.
And I'll pull my motion if you want to make that.
I make a motion to make a motion
To support.
to support Rhode Island House Bill 7356 and Senate Bill 2216, school employee background check. Right, is that, oh, no, it's not that. I removed that part.
And don't you, and, okay.
And then we will come up with our own resolution to bring forward to move on.
I'll second that.
Second.
I seconded it already.
Oh, you beat me.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, so I had a couple things that I just wanted to chip into. I'm in favor of anything that we can do to strengthen, safety and security of our students, our student body, our staff in general. I conveyed that to the folks who approached me about this very topic. I think it's super important, obviously. It's pertinent to this district, districts everywhere. The comments that I had for them were really two main ones. One is I wanted to make sure that I had opportunity to speak with the legal counsel at both the local and regional level to just get an opinion as to whether or not what's being proposed here is legal, if it's worded correctly, if it's enforceable, and if it's doing what it's intended to do. And I would like to get that opinion as part of any work that we do as far as a resolution, a policy goes. I think it's important. Oftentimes, while it may be law, it sounds weird, it may not be legal until it's tested. So we want to make sure that the law as proposed is truly legal. The second part that I conveyed to them is that I don't know that it goes far enough as far as professions. I would like to see anything that's passed at a statewide level focus on any child-forward profession, whether it's teaching, whether it's childcare, whether it's social services, anything that's receiving state money should be subject to the same rigor as far as background checks and tracking goes. And I understand exactly why this is focused on the schools at the moment. But I don't think we should lose sight of the fact that this issue is not limited to schools. It's limited to anywhere where you have adults in a position of authority and the opportunity to take advantage of that with families, with children. And I would be supportive of something that we can acknowledge that it's important in the schools, but encourage these laws, whether it's these or bills in the future, to extend that to all of these industries. So it's not vilifying our teachers, and it's not limiting the scope of where this protection is required. And that is what I tried to convey to the folks that spoke with me about it. I support it. I'll vote for what we're voting for here, and I will pass that forward in my own way, but I wanted to share that here because I do think sometimes we focus on one profession, and it's more than that. You know, it's not like that. There's creeps everywhere, you know, and we want to find them all. That's it. Sorry.
Thank you. I have a first and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Perfect.
Can you guys just reiterate the motion, or I can, if you can just clarify it, that you, Mr. Dupuy rescinded his motion. Shelley, you amended the motion with Cindy supporting it, the Rhode Island House Bill 7356 and Senate Bill 2216, with proposing our own resolution, or providing, or proposing?
We will,
And we'll propose our own resolution?
yes, and we'll propose our own
Okay.
resolution.
And should I put
In
this?
support of those bills, I guess, in support of those bills.
Yes, in support of those bills.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that we're clear. Thank you, Kyle, for
All right,
reading
I
that
just
back.
want to make sure that that's what we all said.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, so anything else? Number 17, Amy's here. I'm not going to read your email
No,
unless you want me to.
It's probably a little more comprehensive than what I have planned, but this is a little more pertinent to the Gloucester level. This fiscal strategy and advocacy working group, but did want to extend it to the region as well, because obviously our relationships are important with Foster, and everything is impacted by the decisions that both of our towns make irrespectively as well. The purpose of the group is to provide an opportunity for folks from the town council, hopefully, folks from our board, and opening up to constituents and other members of the community who may be interested in participating. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about communication and transparency. I think this would be a good opportunity for those who are looking for more of that to obtain some transparency and some more information. It's also a really good opportunity for members who may be exiting the school committee or the town council and/or interested in potentially running for those positions as well, to obtain information and have some understanding as to what the issues that we're up against fiscally. So I kind of focused the group in like 3 areas that the goals with which we would focus on. But obviously, until we're in a room with everyone who would be willing to participate in this, that's not fully ironed out as well. So we're focusing on tracking legislation, that impacts our funding, identifying grant and incentive opportunities, and developing clear fact-based messaging to support responsible advocacy. So I heard a lot too, even just now, about the budget. This was another part of it as well that I thought we could focus on, is trying to create, like Renee had said, I guess, documents that people can see and understand our district and the budget process from Gloucester to the region, what the steps are, how we get there, the entire process, because it does take time to piece things together when you're new to the district. So it's another opportunity to put some information together and to communicate that to constituents so that it doesn't take them many years to figure it out. So, yeah.
So we discussed this in Gloucester, and we decided, I know, but I tried to speak for you as best as I could. We decided to move forward with creating this working group, but we left it open to handing it off to you to start to pull it together. So we authorized you, the committee, to start moving forward with creating this working group. So now we have to decide if we want to do something similar here at the region.
I would think you would almost have to be truly effective, and I think it sounds like it's something that's needed here. You hear it from the community. So yeah, I think that sounds like a great concept, and I'd love to see where it goes.
Yeah, Cindy and I offered our support, at least on the Gloucester level.
Yeah.
We could
Do both.
You know.
Okay.
We wanted to be careful not to, we wanted, what was your advice in terms of posting the meetings and?
Well, as I said, not knowing exactly what the charge of the committee will be, or this group, I should say, will be, I don't know whether it will be subject to the open meetings law as a public body or not, but I think erring on the side of caution, and you'd want to advertise it anyway. You want
Right.
participation.
If the purpose
So
of it
treat-
is
so-
to be.
So treat it as an advisory committee, which is subject to the open meetings law, but you don't have to keep minutes because it's advisory. And, I mean, you can keep minutes, but you don't have to
Post
do them
them.
the formal way. And that way, if depending on, you know, if a majority of the committee happens to show up one day, you're not in violation of the open meetings law.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
and
think that's
I think Ed included in the information that there would be no action taken. It's more of an opportunity for information sharing and idea sharing and planning and just trying to figure out ways to make everything more digestible for the public.
I see it as a great opportunity too, and I think you were saying it before, to tap into some of the amazing folks who've kind of gone through some of these positions before and may not want to be in all the way.
As a member,
but you don't
yeah.
lose that mind and their opinions and their thoughts and that history, frankly.
Right. Yeah, they all have something to offer as far as information and resources and, you know, attempts that they've made to resolve certain issues that maybe they didn't get to resolve. So, I mean, it's an opportunity for that. I did also reach out via email to the town council about this agenda item. I will continue to work towards communicating with them and asking if any of them would be interested in joining. And then I guess we can figure out a way. I guess my question to you all would be, what would be anyone's input regarding how to communicate that to the public? What would be the best course of action to, I guess,
What did you say? Maybe an ad?
add in the paper? Okay.
Shelley.
So my only concern is who reads the paper? What paper would we do?
Well,
'Cause
that would be one way, but we could post it on other places.
What
could
if we
ask
did like the website? What if we sent emails out to parents and community members? Because we already have the email chain, right?
Maybe the town councils could post it on their
Exactly, that's what
sites.
I was saying. I think that would go further than, I appreciate your recommendation of the paper, but I don't, like, what paper do we read anymore? Everything's online. Like, even, unless you did the journal, but even still, to go through the ads.
But even if you did the Valley Breeze, you can still access the Valley Breeze online. I think what you're saying is how do you get the message out there, and we could do it in multiple ways.
Yeah.
Why choose?
The Valley Breeze makes sense. Yeah, that's the Valley Breeze, yeah.
And lastly, the other thought I had was whether or not this needed to be formalized into a policy to have like a structure around it. Is that something that would be something should we consider doing that? Is that not necessary?
I think that should be left up to the working group as it starts.
Yeah.
Because I
How
think
it
they can
wants to
set up a set
operate.
of bylaws, correct? They can set up
I mean, I don't know
bylaws.
if it need to be formal bylaws, but, you know, their basic operating understanding.
But that could be
I think that should be the working group's decision on how to do that.
You know,
Okay.
let the flowers grow a bit before you start.
Yeah,
selling
make sure
bouquets,
it's-
you know?
Yes, understandable.
Do a
Got it.
trial run.
We had something similar for the regionalization. I don't think there's a formal policy with that. It was a study group, and that
Okay.
was a little more formal, but there's certainly history for it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? No, we don't need a, we did make a motion in
Yeah.
Gloucester.
If we're gonna make a motion, should we amend the name, and replace working group with advisory committee, just to be consistent and, in line with the public meetings rules?
If that, is that all right with you?
Is that what you changed it to in Gloucester
You don't,
today?
you don't
need to
have to,
change the name.
it doesn't have to say advisory group.
That just wouldn't
Oh,
be-
advisory committee.
In practice, that's just how it functions.
The working group is. an
We just said
advisory,
working
yes.
group.
Okay.
That's, many committees create working groups, it's perfectly fine.
Okay. We just used working group in Gloucester, so. I don't
Okay.
know.
I make a motion to establish the Fiscal Strategy and Advocacy Working Group to have a regional branch.
Second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? I'm glad you were here to explain it. Again, I tried.
Probably easier if you just read it.
So for numbers 18 and 19, we've had issues, and I'm sad to see that, I think Gary King left, but we've had issues with public comment. We've put it in the beginning and the end to try and make people happy. I just want to explain the history a little bit, just like I did with the superintendent contracts. So, there's been no regulation or policy that says the committee must vote on the wording of public comment and where it's located. It's always been included on the agenda throughout the years. So when we looked back over the minutes, let me just go back to 2016. It was, throughout the entire 12 months, it bounced back and forth between public, on the agenda, it reading public comment, and then next month it read public comment, agenda items only. And then for some reason, we bumped it back to public comment in August, and then we bumped it back to, it's all over the place. Throughout the years, it was posted first, it was posted at the end of the agenda, it was posted in both. In some instances, in 2017, we had it posted agenda items only and public comment open forum, worded two different ways on the same agenda. So, again, this was something that just, for some reason, gained a lot of traction on social media, and everybody was coming down pretty heavy on us for this, and it was, I think, unjustified and unwarranted, seeing that when we look back, as far back as 2016, and then you just stop looking because it's all over the place. It's been our past practice for over 10 years. And then, when you do take a look at our two policies, one of my major concerns is that public comment, according to our policy, should be limited to educational matters of concerns to the board on unresolved issues concerning the superintendent or schools. But it has to be the educational matters. Another concern I have is if you look at our policy that's in your packet on public participation, it says, I'll quote, "It is also the legal responsibility and intent of the Regional School Committee to protect the reputation, the character, and the legal rights of our personnel and students, as well as any individual appearing before us. For these reasons, the school committee meetings are properly deemed public meetings to conduct the business of the regional school district and to hear the public comment related to that business, and not public forums to provide a platform for the introduction of a private agenda." We can't allow, this isn't a meeting for people to just come and air whatever they feel like. We have proper procedures. If you have a problem with your child's grade, you take it to the teacher. If you have a problem with the teacher, you take it to the principal. We have steps that you follow. That policy, it's item 19 in our packet, explains it in item number 2, line item number 3, item number 4, that these things need to go through a certain chain of command when we have complaints. And I think the reason it's so important to follow these is because we've had the public come up and make false accusations. And we've had the public come up and call our administration liars or teachers liars. And it's our responsibility as a school committee to also protect the people who work for us and our students. So rather than debate this any longer, I think we should take these 2 policies and send them back to the policy committee to tighten it up, to figure it out so that we can be much more clear and so that we don't have another 10 years of jumping all around with it in the beginning of the agenda, at the end of the agenda, and how we word it on the agenda. But just to be clear, as far back as I've looked, 10 years and beyond, we've never voted as a committee to where to put the agenda, public comment on the agenda. It's never been a vote. It was just discussed between Shelley and I, or Ron and Shelley, or whoever was the sitting chair at the time, and we usually based it on the same with when we have DECA. We'll move them to the front based on what our agenda looks like. But it was never been a vote to make these changes, and I made a chart. It is insane how much jumping around we've done as a committee. So I think the only way to fix this so that it doesn't come down on us again is to send this to policy committee and ask them to tighten it up. Yes, Shelley?
I don't think the chatter, including myself, it was never about where it was located. It was about limiting it to agenda items only.
Well, again, but that's what we've done for 10 years.
I think you did it once. You stated once you did it, because it was once in that same committee, because I don't ever recall
I'm going to read it to you.
Please, because I don't ever recall.
April
I'm sorry.
2016, in 2016 in June, in 2016 in July, in 2016 in December, in 2017, March, April, May, June, September, October, November, December, just a second, 18, January, February, March, April, May, June, August, September, October, December, and Shelley, you and I were
I got to look that up, because I don't ever recall there being open agenda items only. It says it on, I got to look it up myself. I'm sorry, Cindy, because I don't.
That's fine.
That was the chat. It's not where it was located. It's that we were limiting it to open agenda items. Like I stated before, that is
Shelley,
the one.
do you want the chart?
No, I don't want the chart. I'm going to look up the minutes myself.
Okay.
That's what, I'm going to look up the agendas myself. I don't need your chart. I will look it up through all the years. I will look. 2016
Yeah, but
is
this
where I'll
might
start.
save you time as to where to look.
Okay, that'll be helpful then. That's fine. Thank you.
I mean, it will save you time. It took a lot of time to go
I'm
through
sure, and
a
I
million agendas.
appreciate your energy going into it. But like I said, I stated before, I think that's our one avenue that the taxpayers have. And yes, it's our responsibility to protect our administrators, like you said, if there's false things. But we've always said, point of order, you can't state names.
Yeah.
We've always done that. However, we also have to remember who we work for. We work for the taxpayers. That is who we work for.
I know,
and if
Shelley.
we should be giving them an opportunity to share their concerns. But
Right.
I will look this up, and I don't want to, like I said, it wasn't about where it was located. It was that we limit it to open agenda items only.
And I just wanted to refresh your memory that you and I sat side by side on the committee for years.
That's why I want to look, because I find that hard to believe, and I'm sorry that I'm like dumbfounded right now.
Shelley, I just looked up one of the ones from December. It does say, public comment on items relating to agenda. That's what it says on December 5th, 2018.
Let her research it.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
just
So, I
saying,
just wanted-
Shelley,
No, I appreciate that, yeah, because I'm like, yeah, so I'm
just
I'm
saying
literally speechless, so I appreciate that.
you and I sat side by side for years co-chairing this committee.
I don't agree with
And
it.
that's how we ran it. And again, we were jumbled. We would do it sometimes and not others. We did it under 3 different attorneys' advice. Ronnie Anderson advised us to do it.
John Anderson.
John.
Yep.
Mary Ann Carroll advised us to do it, and now Greg's sitting here.
Yeah,
and
so
didn't-
like I said, I just don't have any recollection of that. So, and I don't think anybody was ever upset about where it was located, because I do. I mean, you guys put it, and we'll move it if there's a lot of people here. You've done it in the past, you've moved it up. It was just the limitation of it. I
Yeah.
think that was the concern,
But I
for
just.
myself included.
Yeah, and
So
I
I
just
appreciate
wanted to
this.
be
I'm gonna
clear.
look this up, and thank you.
So, to put this to bed, so that we don't have to deal with this anymore. Let's kick it to the subcommittee, let them tighten it up, so that no matter who's sitting here, next year, the year after, we have it clear and
I think that's the correct approach. Have the policy committee take a look at it, present something, and then this committee has to be in agreement that we will conform with the policy. Because I think what leads to some of the confusion is not so much where that's placed on the agenda. I honestly don't know. I think it's the way in which it was kind of managed on the agenda and how the style of the meetings, if you will. And I think the world has changed a little bit in how people interact with school committees and government bodies in general in the last 3-4 years, and that in turn has led to that sort of lockdown a little bit on public comment. So I think that's where some of the confusion comes from, is that it may well have been at the top, the bottom, wherever, but depending upon the meeting, there may have been opportunity for public comment in the middle of the meeting if there was something that was pertinent to
And
what people
again, I
wanted to
think
talk
that was
about.
always up to Shelley and I.
Correct.
Today, Gary wanted to chime in on
That's right.
Where we did, we
And
always allowed it.
I think it's kind of migrating back to that space, and that should be in the policy too, that perhaps it's the chair's discretion if they allow comment aside from those public comment defined spaces pertinent to that specific agenda item, but it should be in the policy and it should be discussed. But I just wanted to add that I think that's part of it. It's not so much the formal location of it on the agenda, it's just the way.
But I wanted to bring up both because again, all over social media, they're coming down saying, all over social media, they're coming down saying I'm limiting. It's not I. This isn't an I thing. This is something we have done for 10 years. All of us.
I also think that it's good because if we look at when these policies were enacted, one of them is from 1993, the other one's from 2008. Again, we're talking, 23, very, very long time.
We have,
So
yeah.
I definitely think that it's great to even take a look at these.
It's time.
We can either, tighten or whatever we need to do with said policies if we decide to do said activities or whatever like that, and then bring it back. But I definitely feel like it's very important to also look at these policies, especially on the dates of them from 1993 to 2008. And two of these policies seem to be redundant, if that makes any sense.
We should
or
have a
something like that.
mimeograph policy. If the policy was either
sure we have
reproduced
that
with a
probably
mimeo or a
somewhere.
ditto, it should be redone.
I just want to add, since this is an agenda item, could we have a discussion about what our thoughts are? I feel so I like streamlining things. I like things to be consistent. So is there can we say that public comments is in the beginning, it is in the end, it is both? Can we have that conversation since we're having it right now? That's number one.
I think that the policy committee should try to come up with a plan, present it to us, and then we can adjust it. We have a first reading, a second reading
Right.
with recommendations,
Okay.
because I think that changes need to be made.
Right. I guess they're just saying,
Aren't you
in
on
the
the
in the
policy
interest,
committee?
yeah, but in the interest of going and writing it one way and then coming back and having someone say, no, I really want this formalized or consistent. I'm just, if anyone has any strong feelings about that, that would be great to know going into the policy meeting. And then my other question is for Greg, from a legal standpoint, from the the law that spells out what public comment should and shouldn't be. Correct me if I'm wrong, the chair does have the ultimate decision to stop public comment. It's their discretion.
So there is discretion, but the concern you have is if you have public forum, not public comment, but public forum, that means anybody can get up and talk about whatever they want, and they can defame people, they can, I remember having this conversation when we wrote this policy 30 years ago. Somebody could get up and say, I know that this person is sleeping with that person, and I think it's and the chair, if the chair tries to stop that, it could potentially be a First Amendment violation. It's not in the open meeting law doesn't apply. The open meeting law doesn't require public comment. Most public bodies in this state do not have any public comment. The audience sits there and listens, and that's it. It's much more common with school committees because that seems to be the forum where people feel the most comfortable to come and comment on things. But the danger in having a policy that's so broad is you're going to put the chair in a very uncomfortable position, and she can be sued personally.
And I think it's important to note that throughout the years, another comment that has been brought to me is that we were supposed to take a vote. We've never voted on how it was run. So I think that if we have something that helps, keep it structured. Another important note is looking at the 39 school districts or however many there are, and don't quote me on these numbers, but just for numbers' sake, a third of them have no public comment, period. A third of the agendas have it on agenda items only. Some of them have it on an open forum. I tried to look to see what the majority of the school departments do, school committees do, and you can't find a consensus because it's all over the place in Rhode Island. So that was another issue. I couldn't even look to see what the majority of the state's doing because there's no consistency throughout the state.
All right.
So I think, do we need a motion to, Pat? No, we'll just send it to, I'm just referring it to the policy committee. Any other discussion on that? Is everybody good with sending it to you guys?
I'd like to say
Policy.
thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, before we start executive session, can we just move public comment related to open session agenda items from the bottom to the top, just because of the fact that it's already 9:30 at night? That way, for anyone that wishes to be heard can speak, and then if they want to
We
leave
can,
here,
but we
then-
can also leave it there at the end too. it doesn't.
I just thought that,
No, he means right now, before we go into executive session. We're about ready to go into executive session. So he's saying move it up now.
move it up now,
All
that
right,
way,
that's fine.
if anyone
Come on
would
up,
like to
Walt.
speak. No problem, well, I just didn't know about how long we would be in exec.
No, you're talking about public comment. I think the chair has great latitude on what she can allow and what she can't allow. So I remember, I don't know, things have got crazy now, but years ago, public comment, people used to bring up a lot of stuff that the school committee didn't actually knew what was going on. But, I can remember one about uniforms. They were complaining about uniforms for 2 or 3 years. And then they finally, well, maybe not have been that long, but they finally got all new uniforms. And the school committee really didn't know that the uniforms were in such bad shape, but until the public brought it up to us. So I think there's a lot of good things that could be learned from it. Nowadays, people have agendas, and you can only talk about so much.
But again, something like the uniforms should have been brought up to the athletic director. The athletic director should have taken it to the superintendent.
Right.
The superintendent then should have taken it to us. Like, could we have prevented that from being a discussion months prior to it hitting
Yeah,
the
but
school?
it didn't happen though, until,
But I wish the
until the
public
public
would know
brought
that
it up.
that's the way we're supposed to do it.
But here's the other thing is also, what if someone decides to go, to the athletic and then it just squashed right there, even though, it doesn't want to get back to us or whatever like that. I think that is also a possibility, but again, I don't want to, verge off into any Open Meetings Act or anything like that. But that's just my opinion on the thing, because I think that if something was to be, say, squashed right here and then.
It's going to the policy.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything that has a cost is in the budget, and the budget is generally on the agenda.
Right, okay. And also, you're talking about the time of the meeting, when it was changed. I think you may have been our attorney at the time, Greg, but, because we went through the whole procedure. It had to be put on the ballot in both towns, and both towns approved it. So it must have been,
Well, it wasn't me.
what? It
It
wasn't?
happened after 2010, because
You sure about that?
I seriously
I
doubt
thought it
that.
was before John
You didn't
Anderson.
use the quill and pen?
It was like, as far as 20, because I used to,
Because by charter, anything you want to change about I don't even know if you people can change the date of the public hearing unless it's a dire emergency. Did you think about that? That's a charter. How do you? Oh, okay. Did they get the right times, I hope? Okay. But that did happen. I don't, Beth, you were probably on the committee then. But I think that was around the same time we gave ourselves a raise. I did. I could,
We'll
Yeah.
appreciate another one.
a couple of years, but you people wouldn't vote for it. And then Mike finally put it in the budget. That's how we got it. All
All
right,
right,
that's,
can I have any other public comment? Thanks, Walt.
I make a motion to convene to executive session to discuss and/or vote on the following matters: Rhode Island General Law 42-46-5A, privacy of student records, homeschool approval; Rhode Island General Law 42-46-5A, collective bargaining, grievance 2526-03, level 4, violation of Article 7, student loads, update of unfair labor practice, case ULP 6433 by NEA Ponegantset hearing, rescheduled to March 31st, 2026 at 9 a.m. And Rhode Island General Law 42-46-5A, legal advice / pending litigation, update Barrett v. Foster-Glocester Regional School District, APRA 11.19.2025, update Figgis v. Foster-Glocester Regional School Committee, APRA November 16, 2025, OMA complaint, November 10, 2025, Barrett v. Foster-Gloucester Regional School Committee. Barrett submitted some supplemental surrebuttal, 1/15/2026, update. OMA complaint, 12/16/2025, Whitfield v. Foster-Gloucester Regional School, waiting on decision. OMA complaint, 12/19/2025, PEZA v. Foster-Gloucester Regional School Committee. PEZA submitted rebuttal, update ride complaint, 25.074A, regarding Warwick v. Barrington et al., CTE petition, and update on potential litigation regarding alleged teacher misconduct.
Second.
I make a motion to seal the minutes of executive session.
Second, third, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
We reconvene from open session at 10:32 PM.
Yes. In executive session, one vote was taken during, and was approved in the affirmative. One vote was taken.
Two, because you did homeschooling and your.
I'm sorry, two votes were taken in the affirmative. And what about the statement?
We have to sign that.
Well, that's not, you don't vote that.
That was
Okay.
Who seconded the adjourning?
We didn't yet.
We haven't yet.
We didn't.
Sorry.
I make a motion to adjourn.
We should also say the time. It is currently we came out of executive session in 10:31. It is now 10:32.
I thought I just said that. We
Oh.
reconvene to open session at 10:32 PM.
Oh, okay.
We're just
Go ahead.
clarifying for the public.
Go.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?